in the process of site development, I take it, yeah? Great. So I think this is kind of really good to have this session now, because it really gives you the chance to have a think about what is the ideal content for your site. So we'll be touching on that later today. So first bit on your sheets there, we're going to be answering a series of questions. So first thing is, what content themes could your brand provide? And we're going to fill in something called brand territory, which Bernardo touched on. Then we're going to do a bit of content audit. For those of you who have websites, we're going to go online and we're going to score the content compared to some of those themes. 1 lowest, 5 highest. Don't worry, we'll just skip those that section for those of you who don't have websites. And we're going to do a bit of a wider thinking in terms of what content would you ideally have on your website. And thinking back at the Doritos example that Bernardo touched on this morning, we're going to have a think about what is it, who creates it, and where should it live? Should it be Facebook, YouTube? Have a think about that. So first thing is, what content themes could your brand provide? So this is what we call a brand territory, or brand essence, or brand onion, as some of you may know it. And it's basically a brain dump of all themes that you want attached to your brand. And basically in the circle here we have brand, which in this case we have an example of Dove, so the brand, so Dove or Dove ads. Then we move a bit further out into the products and alternatives. So this is the stuff that we associate Dove with, so the body wash, the shower gel, the deodorant. Moving a bit further out into the consumer needs and interests, we split this up into emotional and functional. So for instance, on the emotional side of things, you guys remember the campaign for Real Beauty. So in terms of emotional, how you want to touch with your consumers, so maybe a bit more self-esteem, inner beauty, body confidence. And in terms of functional, okay, I may want softer skin, I want an even tan, shiny hair. And we move further out into relevant consumer interest. This is where we really kind of get into kind of blue sky thinking. So I don't know if you guys remember, I think Dove was associated with Gok Wan's How to Look Good Naked. So this is some of the themes that you could kind of touch on if there's any kind of celebrity endorsement, for instance. Maybe stuff on the beauty industry, teen issues, skin advice. So this is where you really get a bit really broad when it comes to thinking about this. So what can help influence brand territory? Well, there's a few things. So messaging in other media, consumer research insights, real-time consumer insights, brand equity, and your existing web content if you have existing websites. Now, having said that, what brand territory can do as well is it could help inform what your site content is going to look like. So again, keep that in mind when filling out your brand territory sheets. So that's part one. Part two is, once you have all your ideas down on paper, we're going to prioritize. So we're going to prioritize into the top 5 themes that we want to focus on, and this will shape the rest of the exercises for today. So example, Dove again. So in terms of brand, obviously Dove, maybe a bit about the history of Dove, what Dove stands for. Products, you want a bit of product information on your site, obviously, if anyone's interested in ingredients, etc. And for Dove, maybe stuff around skincare advice, self-esteem, obviously closely linked to the campaign for Real Beauty, and, oh, I'm misspelling there on fashion, just ignore that. And maybe stuff on the fashion and the beauty industry. So have a think about what are some of the main things. I'm sure you guys are going to come out with a lot of ideas from the brand territory, so this is really a case of prioritizing. And just to let you know, we do have the examples in another sheet as well, just in case you want a bit more inspiration. Here's another example for Nike football. I think about 1.5 years ago, Nike launched this campaign around Nike football, so just another example here. So Nike football, obviously, in terms of products and benefits, obviously the footballs, maybe sportswear, football kit, etc. And in terms of emotional, maybe Nike football inspires me to love playing football, or I want to be like one of the great Nike football players. And in terms of functional, we have maybe a case of building football communities. And for the relevant consumer interests, again, celebrity endorsements, if there's anyone there, football tournaments, five-a-side, etc. So again, we have this example in the second sheet that we're going to share out if you want a bit more inspiration. And have a look at the priority themes. And I'm going to go through this. We have that in your sheets. Right, so that's part one, brand territory. So what we're going to do is simply go online and score based on the 5 themes, and we're going to score 1 to 5 how the website kind of delivers on those 5 themes. As I said here, yes. And lastly, again, a bit of brainstorming here in terms of what content would you ideally like to have on the site. So again, Doritos example, think about that. What is it, who creates it, and where should it live? This is an example here for Dove again. So what is it? Campaign for real beauty, body facts and fiction, boosting your self-esteem, etc. Who creates it? Well, it could be the brand having information on their site. It could be videos that consumers upload talking about, self-esteem, how they feel about their bodies, etc. And where should it live? It could live on the website. You can have a YouTube brand channel or a Facebook group. So think about these things when you fill in this section. And we have 35 minutes to do this. You guys score in terms of the website content. Some of you are laughing. So I just want to ask each of the different teams to just call out your scores. I think it'll be really interesting to see how you guys score yourself against those themes. So you want to start, Penguin team?
Well, we don't actually have a Penguin website, so what we did is we looked at the UV
corporate site. Yeah.
So, sorry, just one.
Yeah, just list them.
So 2, 1, 1, 1.
1, 1. And I think, do you guys think it was quite useful in terms of, I know there's sites in kind of in kind of the making of the site. I'm not sure when it's going to launch in March, he said. Do you think it was a bit useful in kind of seeing kind of key areas? And
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
It made us realise we need to update
the corporate site as well. Yeah. Good?
So, we've got 5. We've just launched a new website.
Yeah.
We've got 3, 1, 1, 2.
Anything interesting that came out? Obviously, you scored really high on the brand side of things, but in terms of the consumer interest side of things, anything?
It was more that our site is very campaign-led, so in short term,
Very tactical.
yeah. Probably give it 5 because the activity is really engaging at the moment. But post sort of April, it's just what's that long-term strategy.
Right.
So I think that's where we want to try and get to is what comes the norm.
Okay, cool. Jaffa team.
Okay, we've got 3, 5, 2, 4, and then a 0.
And then a 0. Okay. Tell me about that 0 really quickly.
Well, the 0 is something that we're looking to, we haven't even addressed yet. It's more of our seasonal side of things, so looking into seasonal themes.
Yeah.
So it's not even sort of up and running yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Those scores are based on really what we're doing and also looking at what our consumers are already doing for us. So,
Okay.
yeah, obviously the...
And you scored quite well on product information as well. I take it you guys have extensive kind of...
So not on our current site, but with work that we've done and is being built as we speak, we're putting quite sort of detailed pages together of our core ranges.
Cool. Brilliant, thank you. McCoy's?
We have 4, 3, 5, 3, and 2, but I don't think our last one is correct, so I think we're trying to review that. That one, it started to come out that it was more under the product section. So.
Oh, is that the...
whole craving element.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if that's the right section. I think 2 key things that's come out of it is highlighting a bit more around the product benefits and features and having a bit more of a product story.
Yeah.
So even though we might not have much to say, what's the real McCoy stand for, where's it come from, that kind of thing. So
Right, so that would be the 3, wouldn't it?
bit of a product story, and then I think there's just a whole social networking interaction side that's missing.
Cool. Thank you. Jacobs?
Our scores are very low, unfortunately.
and we've got 10010.
Right, I know you guys don't have a site as well.
We don't have a site, but also in terms of, there are some adverts on YouTube, so that's good. In terms of our portfolio, there's nowhere that tells anybody what our portfolio is. There's a little bit of information on the corporate website, but there aren't any images. And we know even from in-store, talking to people about our products, when they actually get to the shelf, they then can't find what we've just talked about. So I think it would be helpful to have the names of products with pictures of them with it. Yeah, there are some recipe ideas, as discussed. Chocolate covered chicken scratchers, so can't say there aren't any recipe ideas out there. But there isn't a lot of kind of information about family, and there isn't any health information in those other
So again, like the Penguin team, do you guys thought that it gave you guys a bit more focus in terms of what you want the site to look like? Yeah? Cool. Well, that's it for this section. We're going to move on into the the search strategy.